Hello and a warm welcome back to the Sweet Spot, your go-to golf tipping show, brought to you by the Racing Post. No Bruce Millington this week. He's having a well-earned rest. So Jack Reeve joined alongside Racing Post's golf guru and top tipster, Steve Palmer. And he is a top tipster at the moment, coming into this show off the back of a couple of really good weeks. Steve, a lot to talk about today. We'll be getting into all of our live golf politics. But let's start with the good news first. And you found a winner last week.
Yes. I was delighted to see Rory McIlroy win that. I really enjoyed the Tour Championship. At the start of the Tour Championship, the tournament was getting a lot of stick, wasn't it? The format always comes under scrutiny, and with Scotty Scheffler, using that handicap start to race clear. A lot of people predicted it was going to be a very boring event, but it actually, the way it turned out, is one of the most exciting events of the year. Gripping stuff on Sunday with three players going to the line together, and I've just found it a really relaxing tournament, Jack, because of the way we did it at the start, the tactics at the start. Went for each way bets on Xander Schauffele and Rory McIlroy, and a lot of punters struggle to get their head around like each way bets at those sort of prices. It was 8-1 and 12-1 last week, but they're often the best each way bets at the short prices. When you can essentially finance the win part of the bet with the place part, it makes the tournament so much more relaxing. And it's not a defensive play either, Jack. Over the weekend, because the places were looking so good, it allows you, frees you up to press up in the win market. So, I don't want people to think each way bets are a defensive play.
You essentially took a 2-0 lead early on and saw it out. Happy
Absolutely.
days.
Absolutely. When you feel you've got the place part in the bag, you can attack. So, I think it's a very primitive punter who only bets each way at fancy prices. I'd like to make that point. I think you've got to broaden your horizons and don't be scared of each way bets at short prices.
Absolutely. It was a brilliant finish. Rory McIlroy coming from 6 shots behind. It always felt, though, Steve, with what's been going on with Rory and the PGA Tour and all of the antics with live golf, that the script was almost written for Rory to get this done. I mean, it was a fantastic final day, and he has to take credit, not only to win in such circumstances, but with everything going on. He's almost become the spokesperson for the PGA Tour, hasn't he? And I think with most people anyway, he's built real credit over the last few months.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a lot of off-course duties. You're right. He's been busy in meetings with PGA Tour bigwigs and other PGA Tour players, trying to keep everyone together. And he's taken his eye off his golf game a little bit. And he admitted it was a great relief to get on the golf course on Thursday and get away from all the politics, as you put it. But I think Rory McIlroy takes a lot of credit for his stoicism. He reads a lot of books about stoicism and resilience. I do too. He's a big fan of the ancient Stoics. And after that triple bogey on the first hole, that tested him. He was 4 over par through 2 holes. Driving rain coming down. It was he got some water on his club face, and the drive was wild. So 4 over par through 2 holes, miles behind. And he drew on all his stoicism, and he also drew on Joo-Hyun Kim. Joo-Hyun Kim in the Wyndham actually popped into his head at that point, because Joo-Hyun Kim quadruple bogeyed the first hole of the Wyndham Championship and then won the tournament. So Rory admitted that on Thursday, when he was 4 over par through 2, he thought about Joo-Hyun Kim and thought, if Joo-Hyun can do it, then I can do it. And it's an amazing.
I sincerely hope that Mr. Kim has been given sort of 10% of the winnings in that case. When Rory started so poorly, did you have fears that your bet was up in flames?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was a terrible start, and Rory, the old Rory, I'd say, would have wilted at that point. But he as he's got older, he's become obsessive about mental training techniques. And it did seem to work there, because he was so impressive for the subsequent 70 holes. I mean, East Lake is like he's got a love affair with East Lake, and he's so often in that final 2 ball. Even when he hasn't won, he won it in 2016, won it in 2019, won it in 2022. So a 3-year gap between his wins would be piling in 2025. But even when he hasn't won it, like you remember when Tiger Woods won it in 2018, Rory McIlroy was in that final group. He always seems to find a way to do well at East Lake. And when asked about his success at East Lake in the media conference afterwards, he made a very interesting point. It sounded a bit cocky. I don't think he was being cocky, but he was just being honest. He's a very honest man. He said he thinks the reason he does so well in this tournament is because the money doesn't mean as much to me as it does everyone else.
There's a little dig. There we go.
I mean, it doesn't mean as much to me as everyone else. I mean, I don't think he's making some grand point about being not being materialistic or anything. I think he's basically just saying, I've got more money than the other people in the field. The richest player in this field was Rory McIlroy. The 18 million figure didn't enter his head all week, it seems. Whereas, love saying that word, whereas the other players, it probably was a factor.
It must be nice, mustn't it, Steve? If you just pocket $18 million and it doesn't really even matter. So, okay, just put it in the bank and add a few more zeros to the number.
Yeah, it's lovely. I genuinely believe him as well. I think it was just about winning the tournament, and he's pumped up to win PGA Tour events at the moment. I don't think the money entered his head incredibly.
Well, it's a statement for Rory as well, isn't it? He's backed up his words. I think that will mean a lot to him. A word on Scotty Scheffler, who's had an incredible season, didn't get the job done last week in the Tour Championship. He spent 24 of the last 25 weeks at number one in the FedEx Cup standings, didn't get it done. I saw Rory afterwards. I think, was he speaking to Scheffler's parents and saying, your boy deserved to win, which I thought was, yes. I'm not sure if that was a nice touch or not. I'm not sure if that helps in that moment.
Well, Scheffler's dad was really nice. Yeah, Scheffler's dad was really nice to say they don't need to apologise, because Rory just went up and said sorry. Scheffler's mum was even better. She goes, "You kicked some butt out there." I'm thinking, just kicked your son's butt. But Scheffler's the player of the year. Yeah, Scheffler's the player of the year. We love the Chef. Sweet spot hero. Yeah, we backed him for all his wins this year, so that he deserves player of the year for that.
Absolutely.
Alone.
In terms of the season in general, Steve, who are your players to take out away from the obvious? We know about the Scotty Schefflers. Any that are almost putting into your tracker for next season to really keep an eye on?
You love a tracker, don't you, Joe? I love a tracker. Yeah, I mean, well, we've mentioned Ju Young Kim. I mean, he could be a world number one. Yeah, the progress has been so rapid. He's gone to courses with no experience and just been seamless. His Open debut was amazing. I mean, we've got to keep a close eye on Tom Kim, as he likes to be called. And Scotty Scheffler. I mean, Scotty Scheffler is putting. He needs to get his putting back, doesn't he, for next year? I mean, his putting last week was a bit shaky. His bunker play, his greenside bunker play was quite poor. And he admitted himself as the tournament wore on, his swing got a bit more ragged. Leading for 72 holes. Yeah, a lot of people criticise the format because you have the supposedly the best player ahead. It's the opposite of greyhound racing. I was on the Greyhound channel on Sunday talking about it, and then in greyhound handicaps, obviously the six dog's the best dog, and they keep that at the back, and it's the opposite. So this has the potential to be a boring tournament, but I think when you've got the target on your back, it puts an enormous amount of pressure on you. Scheffler's expected to have a chance of something. He led for 69 holes of 72 holes, so it's a blooming good effort, I thought. From
are you trying to conjure up a sort of golf greyhound racing hybrid sport there? I mean,
well, if Tiger wants to invite me in, I mean, they're coming up with all these new ideas, aren't they? Tiger and Rory. Yeah, I'll come in and we can work on something there. Bring greyhounds into play.
Absolutely. Let's have a quick look at the European Masters that was won by a favourite of yours, Steve, in Tristan Lawrence. So I'm sure all Sweet Spot regulars will have that name etched into their brain after the antics of him. What was that, about 8 months ago now, out in South
Joburg
Africa?
Open. Yeah, Joburg Open in November, was it? Yeah, our 225-1 hero. So yeah, we were pleased for Tristan the Piston.
He's come a long way, hasn't he, Tristan? Because he's going on not short prices, but considering you found him at 225-1 in a fairly obscure event, and now he's going off in decent European Tour events 30-1 or shorter. The career progression's been phenomenal this year.
Absolutely, yeah. He's proved it's no flash in the pan, hasn't he? He's been a leaderboard regular as Lawrence, and we wondered whether he would have defended that 4-shot lead in the Joburg Open. Obviously, it was weather shortened; he didn't get the chance to defend it. But he had a 3-shot lead on Sunday and carded a 69. It's a steady round. There was one double bogey, but the rest of his round was decent enough. Matt Wallace played well to get in the playoff, and then 3 putted in the playoff to surrender. So all credit to Tristan Lawrence. He's been on leaderboards all year, and it's important to remember how young he is, because he doesn't look young, does he? He looks a lot older than he is.
How young is he?
He's 25 years old.
Is he?
He's 25. He looks about 45, doesn't he? He must have had a tough upbringing, but he's got potential. He's the youngest South African in the top 150 of the world ranking. So yes. There aren't that many good South African golfers at the moment. Garrick Higo's gone backwards, isn't he? So, the Piston might be the future of South African golf. He's got potential.
I tell you who I thought was really going to make a break recently. Van Tonder. I like Van Tong, but his putting is just a bit all over the shop, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and the technical weakness in the swing, isn't it? Yeah, Bruce always has a go at me for being a swing snob, and when I see a player swinging with as bad a swing as me, I don't get too excited about him. But yeah, I think Danny's got weaknesses.
Okay, well done to Tristan. I hope you're not watching, Danny. I still love you. Let's move on to this week's events then, and we'll start with the Maid in HimmerLand. And actually, looking at the top of the field, it's quite a strong tournament for the European Tour, or DP World Tour, I should say. That Matt Wallace is your market favourite, 22-1. Bobby McIntyre, 28. Adrian Aus, 28. Last week's winner, Tristan Lawrence, same price. And then you've got Richard Mansell, Connor Syme, Rasmus Højgaard, bigger the rest. Steve, talk us through this one. Where's it played? How's it set up?
We're at HimmerLand, Farso, Denmark, not to be confused with Diggerland, Kent, where I like to take my children occasionally. HimmerLand hosted this event when it was known as the Maid in Denmark. It was originally the Maid in Denmark from 2014 to 2017, then again in 2019 and again in 2021. Also hosted a Challenge Tour event in 2018, the Made in Denmark Challenge. It says 6,686 yards par 71 on the DP World Tour website. But there are lots of different tees at HimmerLand. They can stretch it out much longer than that if they so wish. 3 par 5s, 4 par 3s, an exposed undulating layout, and lots of long drives have done well there. Thomas Pieters, Julian Zuri. Sorry, I get my pronunciation was mad there. Julian Zuri.
You kind of mixed up the starting letters.
I get carried away sometimes. That was a rubbish one. JB Hansen. Big hitters have done well. It's a short track, but it can be overwhelmed by big hitters because it's so exposed. You can get away with the odd loose one. And we've got light breezes forecast this week. So I think, attacking big hitters will overwhelm the course.
Remind me who won this last year, Steve. I remember watching. I just can't remember the winner.
Bernd Wiesberger.
Oh, yes.
Bernd Wiesberger quite comfortably in the end. He's won it twice as Bernd Wiesberger. Not in the field this week. Maybe in the Live Golf field. Maybe clinging on to his Live Golf place. But we'll discuss that later.
Okay, so we've hopefully found out what players might go well this week. So with that being said, who's your main tip, Steve?
Number one choice is Marcus Hellikilde, who has appeared on Sweet Spot a few times. 40-1 Marcus Hellikilde. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for him. One of the less heralded young Danes. He can show how good he is this week because the spotlight will inevitably fall this week on the players you mentioned, the Højgaard brothers. Obviously, the Højgaard brothers, the hype machine. Yeah, I like the Højgaard brothers, obviously, but the hype machine means that they will command huge galleries this week. The Danes come out in droves for this tournament. It's a very well-supported tournament. And I think there's a lot of pressure on the Højgaard brothers to perform. They haven't performed in this tournament yet. Thorbjørn Olesen will carry a lot of the spotlight. Former Ryder Cup star Thomas Bjorn will still command a gallery. So I like the way that Marcus Hellikilde, who's not a household name in Denmark yet, will fly under the radar. He's 25 years old. He got his career kick-started on the Nordic Golf League circuit. He won 3 times there. Then he won 3 times on the Challenge Tour last year. So he's a prolific champion in the lower grades, and he seems really comfortable on the DP World Tour. He was 12th in the Dutch Open last year. He was 12th in the Qatar Masters this year. And he went to those co-sanctioned events, those co-sanctioned PGA Tour events. Remember them in July?
Yeah.
Hellikilde popped over, and he finished 8th in the Barbasol Championship, and he finished 13th in the Barracuda Championship. That was really impressive. Back over here, 4th in the ISPS Handa World Invitational. Last week, Cran's debut, can't expect much. Over par first round on a quirky fiddly track. Recovered well, finished 29th. So the form is fantastic. Hellikilde looks ready to win this. He changed his clubs in the close season, signed for TaylorMade, had a quiet few months. Now he's got used to them and he's flying, and he'll be relishing going to HimmerLand. He was 5th in the Nordic Golf League event in 2018. 2 of the 3 rounds were at HimmerLand in that event. And his DP World Tour debut at HimmerLand last year closed with a 64 for 25th place. And bear in mind, he was a Challenge Tour maiden at that point. He hadn't even won on the Challenge Tour at that point last year. 347th in the world rankings. This week, wow. he returns as a different player. So, Hellikilde 40-1. Fantastic each way bet.
Yeah, you sound excited. Plenty to go off there. You mentioned Garrett Higgo earlier, and of course, the Højgaard twins. I'm kind of categorising them all into the same bucket of they really peaked at a similar time, didn't they? We haven't really heard too much about them recently. Højgaard twins still going well, or maybe not? not so much excitement as first thought?
I think they've still got magnificent potential. Rasmus has had a few injury problems this year. Yeah, he's been derailed by a few injury niggles, but he's impressed on the PGA Tour, on rare spins on the PGA Tour. I'd still have Rasmus as the better of the two. He seems the steadier character. Nicolai is a swashbuckling, crazy cat. And massively inconsistent. I mean, he won a tournament, didn't he? And then this year, and then just missed a series of cuts after that. Very aggressive, over-attacking. So yeah, rough around the edges at the moment, Nicolai. I think Rasmus is the better bet this week if you want to back a Højgaard brother. Okay. But I can resist both of them. Okay,
Marcus Hellekilde, the top tip for Steve Palmer this week. Who's up next?
The next best, and it's a two-pronged attack. We've only got two tips in this.
Oh, okay.
I've flirted with a few others, but I can't get enough enthusiasm for them. I think Marcus Hellekilde is the best bet, and I think the next best is Nicholas Norgaard Muller. The spectacularly named Nicholas Norgaard Muller, who you will dig down in your list there.
Yeah, it sounds like sort of a Euro 2004 Danish striker.
yeah. Maybe he'll be playing in the World Cup, but he's 70-1 to win this. So a two-pronged Danish attack. I think the Danish Jew are going to bring home the bacon. He's older than Hellekilde. He turned 30 in May. He's a Copenhagen man. His best performances have come in his homeland. He's won 3 times on the Nordic Golf League, once as an amateur and twice as a pro. All 3 of those victories came in Denmark, and one of them came in the 2019 Race to HimmerLand event. 2 of the 3 rounds there are played at this week's venue. And in last year's Made in HimmerLand, I must get up with the times. Last year's Made in HimmerLand, he carded 4 rounds in the 60s and he finished 8th, and went on to get promoted to the DP World Tour in the Challenge Tour Grand Final in November. And he looks comfortable on this circuit. 10th in the European Open, 9th in the Scandinavian Mixed, 27th in the Barbasol. I mentioned those co-sanctioned PGA Tour events. And last week, he carded, it was easy to miss, he carded a second round 61 at Crans. Spectacular second round last week. He's got loads of talent, loads of power. I mean, this is like a Højgaard brother in all but name. Nicholas Norgaard Muller. He does everything like a Højgaard brother, but he's not got the profile of the Højgaard brother. He's an old Højgaard brother. He's like Paul Gallagher. I was thinking about it. He's like Paul Gallagher, an older and wiser Gallagher brother. Liam and Noel get all the headlines and go off short prices. But Paul's got some talent too. So yeah, Nicholas Norgaard Muller.
Did you say earlier the Race to HimmerLand? Is that
there was
the equivalent of Race to Dubai?
There's a tournament called the Race to HimmerLand on the Nordic Golf League. This is a really tough event to research because there's loads of these little Nordic Golf League events you've got to go through, all with crazy names. But yeah, the upshot is Hellekilde and Muller are comfortable on this track.
Excellent. Well, it sounds excellent, and if nothing else, he's got an astonishingly good name. So that's very good. What about the top of the market, Steve? We've got some recognisable names: Matt Wallace, Bob McIntyre, Adrian Als. Don't fancy any of those?
Well, Matt Wallace is a former champion in this tournament, but that was at a different track. He's be a popular favourite this week after last week. But he's got to pick himself up off the floor there, and it's a very meek surrender, wasn't it? The 3-putt in the first playoff hole there. So I don't know. Wallace is an explosive character. I don't want to trust him at that price.
No, very exciting. I'll always just a quick one on Matt Wallace. I was following him at the Kazoo Open a couple of years ago when Nacho Elvira won. And we were on a par 3 at Celtic Manor, and he sort of hit this horrible raking hook, and it hit someone, quite a nasty one, sort of on the rib cage. And he came over and almost acted like it was the spectator's fault for getting in the way. And it's like, come on, mate, just give the poor person a Pro V1 or something and move along.
Yeah. I'm not convinced by him as a character, I must admit.
There we go. I wonder what he thinks of us. On to the Live Golf, and we don't have prices for this one at time of recording. Worth noting that there will be selections from Steve on Racing Post Sport. There's also so much great golf content throughout the week on the website, so well worth bookmarking that on your internet browser. But we'll have a quick word on Live Golf. It's played at Boston this week, Steve. Any notes of anything?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can tell you about the venue. The venue is the Oaks Course at the International, Bolton, Massachusetts. Not to be confused with. There's a bit of a theme this week, but not to be confused with Bolton, Lancashire. Hopefully, Live Golf Bolton will be on the schedule at some stage. But this is in
Bolton, Diggerland duo would be quite good fun, actually, wouldn't it? Instead of HimmerLand and, but what did you say, Bolton in America?
Yeah, that would be a good day. Yeah, that'd be a good day out. But there is a Bolton in Massachusetts, but it's near Boston. So this is Live Golf Boston, and the course typically plays as a 7,112-yard par 72 with 5 par 5s, 8 par 4s, and 5 par 3s. But it remains to be seen what the Live Chiefs decide to do with it. We may not get 5 par 5s. I don't know. Information is pitifully thin on the ground for this event. Yeah, we were expecting big announcements yesterday. The new signings were all supposed to be paraded yesterday, and I thought we were going to get the field cemented, and then we would have had prices, and we could have had a lovely big preview on it. Yeah, they're trying to generate interest in this new product. You have to have the field cemented on a Monday. As we talk, 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, we don't know who's in the field. I can have a good guess. We know it's going to be 48-man field, 54 holes, shotgun start, Friday afternoon kickoff. $20 million prize fund, $4 million to the winner. But I don't know for sure who's in the tournament because, we know these new signings coming in. We don't know who's dropping out. I can tell you, I'd have £1 million on Cameron Smith being in this field.
That's a real. Has there been a player gone over to Live yet, Steve, where you've been genuinely disappointed? Because Cameron Smith, I think, was the first one for me. You know I love Sam Horsfield, and him going was a shame. I really enjoyed watching him on the DP World Tour. But Cameron Smith, I was really becoming really fond of him. It's one of the finest putting strokes I've ever seen. When he went, I just thought, what's the point of all of this anymore?
Yeah, I understand your despair. I mean, the fact that Greg Norman's in charge of it, and obviously Cameron Smith's an Aussie, and his mate Mark Leishman is going as well. So according to my sources, so you're going to have Cameron Smith and Mark Leishman working for Greg Norman there. Wacom Neiman is going by all accounts. So Wacom Neiman. Apparently there was that. Did you see that meeting that Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy hosted at the BMW Championship? Apparently 23 players were in that meeting. Elite PGA Tour players. 22 of those 23 were convinced to stay by Tiger and Rory's plans. One player in that group has defected, and that is Wacom Neiman.
Oh wow!
Who's got he's got pals on the Live circuit. Very close with Sergio Garcia. Abraham Arntz is a good friend. Carlos Ortiz is a good friend. So Wacom just wants to go and play with his mates on the Live Golf for guaranteed riches.
Do you think if Live Golf were to really take off, and there was a brilliant field week in, week out, do you think the last couple of months would have been the time when the likes of a Rory would have gone over? Because although Cam Smith's gone and he's the defending Open champion, you still have the best players on the PGA Tour. Do you think that moment has passed now? Do you think the PGA Tour is safe?
I think that the line is being drawn now. This is the week. You go now or never. I don't think we're going to get any more after this. I think this is a watershed moment. The FedEx Cup's just gone. There was a few of them hanging around for the big riches in the FedEx Cup booty. That's over with. I mean, this delay in naming the field, speaks volumes, really, doesn't it? There's obviously huge amounts of negotiation going on behind the scenes now, which is why we haven't got the Live Golf Boston field announced yet. But I think this is the moment where they draw a line in the sand. It's now or never. You go or you don't go. Hideki Matsuyama, for example, there's a lot of talk about him going. Rumor has it now he's changed his mind. He's staying. Hideki Matsuyama staying. Cameron Young was on the verge of leaving, and by all accounts, he's been convinced by Tiger and Rory that his future lies on the PGA Tour. So I think we're going to find out hopefully today, so we can get a preview out. But certainly this week, who's going to live forever and who's going to live forever? We're back on the Oasis.
just one final thing. How have you found punting on the first few Live Golf events? Has it been different or okay?
I like it because there's no draw bias. They're all off at the same time. We've got a couple of places with Patrick Reed and Matt Wolf in the last one. No, I'm treating it as a serious punting proposition. I think there's money to be made on it, and I like that you can watch one on your mobile phone while you're watching one on the telly. When I was combining a Live Golf event on the phone with the PGA Tour on the telly, that was really very exciting.
You like the YouTubes then, do you?
Yeah. YouTube on the phone, and then PGA Tour on the telly. I mean, it's a great combo. It really gets all your senses darting.
Well, now you can understand why people love your watch-alongs with Bruce. That have one on the phone or the iPad, and then the action on the television. What?
Well, there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to this week if they get the blooming prices out soon. You know, I'm hoping bookmakers will be alert to it, and as soon as the field is announced, it won't take long to price up 48-man field, and then hopefully on racingpost.com sport tips today, go on there, guys, and the tips will be on there today. If not today, then tomorrow.
Superb. What's happening in the life of Steve Palmer over the next few days then? Last week of school holidays, isn't it?
I think there's another one after that. Yeah, it's too long, isn't it? I don't get me started on that. I think is it 6 weeks or 8 weeks we have? Yeah, I know teachers enjoy their little break, but I think it's too long. But again, that's something to discuss on another day. But yeah, tomorrow I've got a driver's awareness course. That's gonna bring me crashing back down to earth, if you pardon the pun. 8 a.m. start for a driver's awareness course. So it's the second one I've done. So I need to butt my ideas up on the driving. I was doing 33 and a 30. Easy mistake to make. I was trying to find a parking space in Southampton for the Killers gig. So
was it before the Killers?
I blame the lack of parking in Southampton for my 33 and a 30. But yeah, that's an expensive business. £89 driver's awareness course, and So that's what I got ahead of me. And then,
so is that what's happening the rest of is that the biggest thing to look forward to the rest of this week?
That's just in my head because it's happening tomorrow morning. But yes, the wedding anniversary of the week, eighth wedding anniversry. So,
congratulations! What's planned for that? Trip to Diggerland?
to show my wife a good time at the weekend. No, not sure. She likes a cream tea. So yeah. I like pubs. She likes cream teas. So we'll maybe we can combine the both.
Good. Well, hopefully the Danes will maybe pay for some of that afternoon tea.
Yes.
Steve, great to chat to you. Bruce will be back with you next week. What are you previewing next week?
It's a big one next week. BMW PGA Championship at Wentworth.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and there's no PGA Tour event, I don't believe. So it's a centre of attention next week. Rory McIlroy's coming over for it.
Didn't he say he's really not looking forward to seeing the Live Golf players?
Yeah. We're not sure how many exactly is going to be in it, but at least a dozen, possibly up to 20 Live Golf players in the Wentworth field. And yeah, Rory, he says he's going to be difficult to stomach looking at them. So we can expect to see Rory McIlroy vomiting in the locker room when he catches sight of these players. But yeah, Punter's got to factor this in. Yeah, it's going to be a very sort of strange atmosphere there. Yeah, it's become tribal. Rory McIlroy was asked this in the media conference last week. Yeah, is it become tribal between? He just emphatically said yes. Yeah, he seems to really hate these Live golfers, doesn't he? So yeah, it's going to be tense next week. Yeah. Rory seemed a little bit unsettled by having Wentworth on his schedule there. But yeah, massive event. Can't wait. We're on form. Sir Callum Shinkwin, Rory McIlroy. One of those two Danes is going to win this week, and then we'll have another win next week.
Absolutely. I love your confidence, Steve. Big thanks to everyone for tuning in to the Sweet Spot once more. As always, only ever gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Bruce and Steve will be back next week for the big one. But until then, enjoy the golf, and we'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.